Planning and Writing a Narrative. Part 5. Writing the Solution. We know that the basic structure of a narrative looks like this: orientation, problem, solution. In this video, we're going to focus on the solution and the ending to our story. As we can see from this graph, the action drops, but this doesn't mean it's not going to be entertaining for the reader. Planning for an effective solution is important. How do you want the reader to feel at the end of your story? Perhaps you want the reader to be inspired, happy, surprised, or even sad. Maybe your story is telling a message or a moral. Here's our planning sheet so far. We know that the characters have decided it's safest to stay in the treehouse. They're going to climb down after the storm passes. This is only a very basic outline, so before I write my ending, I need to plan it out in a bit more detail to make sure that my story will end in just the right way. I want to highlight the destruction the storm caused, to emphasize the dangerous situation they survived. Maybe they could look out the window and see fences broken, fallen branches, letterboxes knocked over. I'm also going to try to wrap up my story by linking part of my ending to something that happened in the beginning. Narratives don't have to do this, but it is something to consider. In my orientation, Jenny joked about her perfect timing. I'm going to try to use this same phrase in my ending as a clever way to wrap up my story. This is one reason planning a story out before you start writing is important. It means you can plan ahead for something like this. I'd like to finish with a little humour. Maybe one of the characters could have brought along a weather vane. This is a light-hearted way of referring back to the terrible storm. Now that I've planned out my ending, I'm ready to start writing. I'm going to keep the planning sheet next to me as I write because it's important that I use it to help me. Okay, I've finished writing the solution and my ending. Pause the video here if you'd like to read it. Otherwise, let's go through it together. Let's look at some of the techniques I used in my solution and ending. Here I dedicated a paragraph to detailing the destruction caused by the storm. Roof panels missing, branches littered the yard, letterboxes torn out of the ground. Can you spot here how I linked the ending to the beginning? I had Scott use the same phrase that Jenny used in the beginning, perfect timing, to poke fun at Jenny suggesting the weather vane would be useful. The solution of a story doesn't need to be very long, but writing an effective one does take some time. Now that I've written my orientation, problem, and solution, it's important that I go back and edit my work. I don't want all my hard work to be let down by careless mistakes. As well as editing for spelling, punctuation, and grammatical mistakes, I'm going to check over my language choices and make any changes I think will improve my storytelling. Finally, if you haven't already, give your story a title. Leaving this until the end can sometimes help you come up with a great idea. That's the end of our narrative series. Keep practicing your story writing and above all, have fun. EasyTeaching.net